Hello, Sonic movie fans. It's episode 95 of the Sonic Movie Show.
1995, baby.
The only show that's about Sonic
We're
news,
here.
movie news, and Sonic movie news. My name is Ethan, and with me here at 10:01 p.m., an hour after we were supposed to start recording, and didn't, is Devin.
This is Green Hills.
I agree. All hills are green when you're going up them, but on the way
what
down,
Sonic thing that's from?
the movie.
Yep, you got it. I cut
Cool,
off half the quote, which he talks about how it's the greatest place on earth. I'm like, well, no, he did, as a sentence, he did say, this is Green Hills.
You know how I thought that? The hills, plural. I don't think there's any other spot, any other thing that has it pluralized. It's just
Yeah.
Green Hill. Or I'm probably wrong. I don't even like
Hills
Sonic.
have eyes.
Yeah, today's episode of the Sonic Movie Show is a bit of a slow, laid-back one. We're going to be talking about that Sonic Rangers game, or Sonic 2022, or Sonic's 30th anniversary big project, the main Sonic action game. Not the action of
Sonic
action
Forces
games, but the action game.
predecessor.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I hope not.
Not
Could be.
predecessor.
Oh,
Predecessors before.
the whatever the word is for after
Yeah.
that one.
It's child. It's baby. Yeah, so apparently this game
Successor.
is... Yeah, successor, not predecessor.
Successor.
The precursor's legacy. Let's get a new fucking Jack and Daxter game, you know? Ratchet and Clank sold better than Sony was expecting.
We'll get one, but it's going to be another, 5 years, I think.
I just remember,
Or never again.
a couple years after The Last of Us on PS3, the original came out, and it was like, oh, such a big hit. It's commercial and critical. It was one of the greatest games of all time, and I liked it a whole lot. I'm just making fun of the overhype about a video game where you're a sad dad that's a bad person that kills people, and you're loved. I like the game, though.
I love
to
violence.
talk about that. Yes, that's the purpose. Naughty Dog was talking about how initially that team was making a Jack and Daxter 4, but they didn't really have too much. They weren't really enthused about it, and then they decided they'd do this thing instead. And the art that they showed and they talked about was a very realistic Jack and Daxter, and I'm like, stop. They're cartoon characters. Can you not fuck up? He's a fucking furry orange guy.
That, halfway through the Jack and Daxter 4 development, that it just turned into Last of Us, like the combat and everything. They're like, yeah,
you're saying
he's stealth now.
Jack turned into Joel and Daxter turned into Ellie.
Yeah, they were halfway through the game. They're like, I just feel like this isn't a Jack and Daxter game. But I like the idea that the story and everything stayed the same, and they're just like, we need to rebrand it. I like that arc better.
I thought you were initially going to say halfway through development, Half-Life 2 came out, and that's when they started making physics puzzles.
Yeah.
Like a lot of games. Yeah, but in any case, Sonic Rangers, we're just going to call it that. That's probably the name. They leaked it themselves. It's Sonic Rangers, or they might change it out of spite, which would be hilarious.
Sonic
it
Ranger,
wasn't that.
Singular.
Sonic the Ranger.
Sonic Park Rangers.
Sonic the Ranger S. You know what I mean?
Super Sonic Rangers.
Exactly. Or just Sonic Forces 2. What if they just fucking call it that?
Just fuck
and
you.
it's not actually like that. It's just named that.
But it's also a big fuck you. No, that's what it's called. And it's going to be the best Sonic game ever, but it's called Sonic Forces 2.
TW.
But all the
because it's
fans call
artsy.
it Rangers.
Exactly. We're Sonic Rangers. Game's 2022, but apparently even Sega admits that they announced it too early. They wanted to have something for the 30th anniversary. I get it.
Besides Sonic Colors Remaster, which is yay.
But and all the other celebratory things that they did. I get it. I'll look to the future.
Let's not forget
but I feel
the King Ice. That was the biggest reveal.
Exactly. I feel like they could have just teased it in a way that wasn't... This is in the past hour when we first talked about maybe the idea of doing this as the episode. We were like, it's just so weird because the trailer shows nothing, teases something, and they literally tell you will have no context for what this is. It's not something you can figure out. Get hype. This weird fucking rune that they show at the end of the trailer. That type of trailer is hey, you'll be seeing a lot more of this game in 2 weeks. when we're at Xbox's press event or something
Or even
like
like a
that.
month.
That's what I guaranteed. Something really close. Not like, hey, start to get hyped because pretty soon you're going to learn all about this game.
That was end of June, so I guess it has only been like a month and a couple weeks, but like still.
Unless it's at the Sony thing that we don't even know if it's happening or not.
It's
We
not
just
gonna
assume that they're going to do
be
something.
there.
But it's not because it's fucking Sonic.
It would have been at the Nintendo thing, I think, way before.
If anything. Especially now that we know it's coming to Switch, which we might have known earlier. But like, absolutely. I mean, Sonic and Mario went gone to the fucking Olympics like 8 times.
They have so
like
much
they're
fun.
homies.
They have so much fun there.
They
just do
have a
roids,
blast.
do races, and fuck. It's
all
amazing.
for their country.
All for their country. Their countries that you know what countries they're from to represent.
The fuck was I saying? Okay, yeah, like the trailer had that vibe to it, like, hey, you're about to see more. It's not really a teaser. It's like when like a movie has a trailer and you're actually going to see the real trailer at Comic-Con in 3 weeks.
Like gameplay. Yeah.
Exactly. Something like that, right? Instead, what they should have done was just simply like a kind of like a logo treatment thing of like Sonic is coming big and back in 2022. That's it. That's all it really should have done.
You know what's going to be big too. You know what's going to be.
Big the cat? Big the cat?
You think.
Or his dick?
No, it's the cat. Got you.
Fuck. Damn it.
Wow, you're so horny.
COVID has done a lot to people.
How dare you Sonic fans be horny?
Fuck. But yeah, so it's apparently, it was announced too early. It's still coming 2022, but as a lot of industry and analysts have, predicted and thought, everyone's like, oh, wow, COVID hasn't affected video games because all throughout 2020 we kept getting big games. And it's like, yeah, those games were like almost done. The pipeline is nearing the end of the phase for that. They can work from home to squash some bugs. It's easy. But now, in this, like, all right, they've had a year of working from home and all the changes and all the delays internally in that regard. Like, that's why you're seeing God of War gets delayed. Horizon gets delayed. Big games that weren't even announced have shifted a year. Games just
like
didn't
Horizon
have a date
have shown gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, it's it's to me, they're further ahead along, at least on press-wise, than Sonic is. And that game's going to be much bigger.
And sell way more.
And sell way more than Sonic will.
Absolutely.
And they're further ahead.
I don't actually expect Sonic to make it. Not that they ever said a quarter or anything like that. We just assumed first half of the year because that's when the movie's going to be around and you want it to sell around there. It's definitely, in my opinion, no longer there, if anything at all. Maybe they weren't even expecting to actually hit 2022. They were doing the God of War thing where no one on that team actually, even Sony, expected 2021 for God of War sequel. They just wanted to say it so that fans would be like, oh my god, it's around the corner. I gotta get a PS5. It's that kind of bullshit of like straight up lying. But if anything, the last quarter of the year. But most likely a 2023.
I think it's a 2023. Right? I would think so, too. If it somehow does miraculously come out and it's shit, too, I'll be even more sad. Not disappointed or upset, just more sad because I know that they could have just delayed. They have an excuse to delay it another year and make it fucking better.
Better keyword is just simply better. Doesn't mean the end result is good or great or amazing.
I want to at least enjoy my time.
It's one of these things where it's like, yeah, it does dawn on me. I'm like, wow, Sonic, the last Sonic AAA in quotes, console game, big Sonic game was 4 years ago. And when was the last time there was a gap that big? I don't know if I can think. It was actually probably 4 years. So I take that back. But you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's been a while. Like, oh, I want to see a new Sonic game. But at the same time, I'm like, I can wait.
We said this.
I can wait
a couple times throughout this. I guess last year, if you've been listening to the show for that long, where we just feel like there's no point in rushing a Sonic game. If anything, there should be more pressure to especially after the movie's success. I think that you need to build off that momentum. That hey, Sonic is cool again for general audiences, or be like, hey. I like Sonic now, or like people are gonna be interested in it. You can't follow it up with a fucking stinker. It doesn't have to blow the doors off, but it should be like, hey, that was fun, that was good. Like the early Sonic games that I've played so far, I feel like I've liked those generally speaking, and they can be challenging and annoying at times, but like I like what they were doing back then. And there's moments in other Sonic games where I'm like, this is cool. Why did they stop doing this? Nope, we're gonna add more random bullshit because that's somehow fun, in my opinion. No, I feel like they can use this as an excuse to be like, hey, COVID. Whether or not it was if it's already been, they've already have gameplay and all that maybe already set in stone. I don't know. We can only speculate, but I feel like they have this excuse to use COVID to make this game as best as they can, take all the time they need, and I really think they need to like build off the Sonic movie and its success. Obviously, it's on a curve. I think the Sonic movie is up there in terms of Sonic media in general. You need to build off that and just do something at least at that level of care and like I'm talking about care because look how the first trailer came out and people shat on it and they were like, "Yep, you're right. We went and fixed it and it was good. It was awesome." You know, like that's the kind of like thing I feel like they need to be like, "Okay, everyone hated Sonic Forces. Why? Let's figure that out." Okay. Let's do some play testing. Is this game actually fun? Is this actually something?
My fear is they couldn't figure out why. My fear is they couldn't figure out why. That's like the Sonics never learned. Clearly, they didn't figure out why.
Every time they have one decent thing, they followed up with a
or they just decide we're gonna reboot it again. Like, bro, like you were getting there, you were refining what you had. Why did you start it over?
A reboot. It can just be its own thing. Nothing has to be linear.
Let's try to really think about what Sonic Rangers is going to be. I think based off comments we've talked about on previous episodes of this being like as big of a shift in the series that Sonic Adventure kind of gave to the franchise, which again I think is just a very easy thing to be like the parallels between 2D and 3D, the change there. This is just as big. That kind of like bullshit marketing like interview question answer thing. But I think that it is going to be a different style gameplay than we've seen. Even if they could have just taken what we've had before and just make it good and actually try, I think it's going to be something completely different. I wouldn't be surprised if it's slower, and I wouldn't be surprised if like it's like so different in the sense of like Sonic lives on a new planet or something like that. And like most of the cast are brand new characters or something like that, you know? Maybe even mechanics were like, hey, Sonic might not be running around all the time. I think it's honestly going to be pretty different.
See, I think it's
that's my hope.
I think it's going to be closer to a Sonic Adventure. I think there's been this, granted, I only see this from the Sonic community on like Reddit and Twitter, where people, I think it's because of an age generation thing of like, there's this love for the Sonic generation games. Those games aren't good. Sonic Adventure games, sorry. Those games aren't that good, in my opinion. Granted, I'm going to be playing through the first one very soon, because we're going to maybe do something special for it. Who knows? But I played through the Adventure, too. I did not like it after, like, the first 3 levels. Some of the levels just felt like a waste of time and were more not fun challenging. But I have a feeling it's going to be that because of this. They want to, I think, build off that nostalgia a little bit. Nostalgia sells, I feel like, in today's market more than anything. When it comes to like media, I mean, freaking look at movies.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at movies.
Absolutely.
Look at Space Jam. Whether or not you like the movie or whatnot, they did that shit on purpose. They want parents at the theaters to be like, "Oh yeah, I remember this movie. I remember Men in Black or whatever the fuck it was."
Gamers feel so much nostalgia because they've played games as children, and that's where you get those like ties to, right? Like you and I both have different things we're nostalgic for video game wise that you might not even realize if you booted up some shitty ass Game Boy Color game that you don't remember playing all that much, and all of a sudden you hear some music cue or the title screen pops up or the way the colors are, and then you're all of a sudden hit with that nostalgia. Like I can't not see Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal and not like think of the smell of cigarettes because of a nostalgic trigger, that kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So gamers are easy to manipulate with nostalgia for sure when it comes to buying products.
So yeah, I feel like they're gonna they don't want to do a Sonic Adventure 3 or anything. Honestly, honest to God, I don't think we'll never getting that. I feel like if we would have gotten that, we would have gotten it by now.
I think it's one of those things where it's like, what does that mean? Or like, because if you ask like some hardcore Sonic fans, they're literally going to say the exact gameplay styles from 2 decades ago. That's obviously not going to work. So it's just, what's the idea of it then?
I think it'll be
multiple
close
characters.
To that.
They've been doing that anyway.
Yeah, I think they want like some. Yeah, and also like there's a story too, right? In those games, generally speaking, and there's stories in the Sonic 06. There's Sonic Generations, all that shit. Sonic Colors.
They all have stories.
Yeah,
yeah.
Even Team Sonic Racing or Sonic Team, whatever the fucking title is, it has a story.
Team Sonic Racing. No, it's.
I feel like though they're gonna try to. I feel
know.
like they're gonna go towards that adventure route, but they don't want to call it that, because there's nostalgia, but also at the same time, I feel like that's almost too niche for like more general Sonic audiences. So I think that's why they would call it something like Rangers, just a brand new title.
It could be one of those things where it's like we appeal to the adventure nostalgia, but we're also like a brand new thing. You know how every movie that's a sequel is like, we're not calling this something something 3 because it's something something blah blah blah. And you can like I even see in like gameplay demos for Ratchet and Clank, the new one. Whether you've been playing with us from the beginning or this is your first time, this is a full length story that you don't need to know anything about. Like it's 100% what they want, but at the same time, if you did play them all,
yeah,
you're going to see all these references and have all these things, right?
Yeah, that's why I feel like
100%.
I feel like
agree.
that's if they really want to do that, I feel like that's as much as you're going to get. There's going to be moments where you're like, oh, this is like Sonic Adventure, where there's going to be like some set pieces, like not a truck, like the truck going down the hill, but I'm saying something like that where it's like they're going to try to go for some iconic. I don't know how to describe this, but like an iconic backdrop in some way. They're going to try to like. But
everyone remembers the whale and everyone remembers the truck.
Yeah.
Right? Sonic Adventure Whale, Sonic Adventure 2 truck.
Maybe it's a volcano.
They're going to try to get something like that. Yeah.
It's going to be some sort of set piece. Or some sort of set piece that like is moving and you have to keep moving kind of thing. I think there'll be moments of that. Then like you said, where you think there's going to be moments where there isn't as much movement. Maybe you're walking around kind of like in what was that?
I could see puzzle solving.
Sonic
stuck in a ruin, and
I think it's gonna be like a
leisurely.
Bit like, you think there's gonna be puzzle solving, like
something like platform puzzle challenges that aren't running fast.
It's
but
really
like,
hard to tell. Too.
Not in a level, more of like you're in an environment type of thing. I don't know, like because maybe I'm just thinking about like the rune structure.
Are you saying more
thing.
like I don't know why my brain first example of this. Are you saying something like the Tony Hawk games where like you have to complete skate?
Oh, no, I just mean a more like any one of these like open world games where like, you know, this little dot on the map, you go in there and you walk in, this area isn't closed and this is a self-contained puzzle you got to figure out and then you get some reward. That's more what I'm thinking like about.
Mario Odyssey then.
Yeah, for sure.
So you think it's
honestly just copy Mario Odyssey.
But make it
don't
Sonic.
Even let Sonic run.
I don't know if I would like that. It might be fun, but then to me you're not making a Sonic game. But like you said, maybe they don't give a fuck anymore and they realize we can't make
Maybe they shouldn't.
Maybe they shouldn't and like they're just going to roll with whatever. Maybe there'll be instances where they have set pieces like I said, but maybe at the end of the set piece you're in this area and you have to figure out a couple puzzles, get some big rings or something, and then if you get 3 big rings you unlock the next set piece. Maybe that could be interesting.
The more I'm thinking about it, and we've talked about what we want from a Sonic game, our Sonic game, and blah 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 blah, right? And I've always said they really got to focus on making it easy, the challenge, like you're guaranteed to beat the level. It's just that the more challenging platforming sections of it are in a spot where you need to actually show your prowess to get there, yada yada. But I'm thinking more now, like especially with Sonic Colors Ultimate being like, hey, there are no lives in this. We're trying to make it so that kids can play this stupidly difficult game. It wasn't all that difficult, but a game that is difficult for a child's like, hey, this is my 3rd video game. I'm 8. You know what I mean? I just got a Wii.
Yeah, you can't
for the
advertise
first time.
Sonic for children and then make the game super hard. Because
Right.
I'll be honest.
In this day and age, there's so many other things to grab kids' attention. They're not going to want to play that after that.
Yeah.
So
I want to speak from example real quick. The first game I remember ever playing is a Sonic game, and I believe it was on the.
We've talked about it before. It was a Genesis. It was Sonic 2.
Yeah, Sonic 2, and I remember like as a kid I'd play it. And like you're a dumb kid, you don't know how games work, that there's levels, or you understand that there's levels as a concept, but you feel like I was one of those kids that like, oh, if I just restart it, maybe this time I'll beat it. Like I'll start from complete scratch, or like maybe I'll somehow maybe the game's broken or something. But I always ran into like one level where I just couldn't beat it. So I would the next day I would try it again. By I'd take the cartridge out, blow on it, and like legit thought it was like broken or something. And like eventually I'm like, I don't like this game. You know, I don't remember it too much, but I remember being like, this is too hard, and like it seems cool, but it's too hard. And I remember like being more interested in like Mortal Kombat and shit, playing with my dad, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? That where there's an end to that. There's always a winner or whatever.
Sonic is difficult. Sonic is.
But I think when Sonic first came out,
difficult.
it wasn't necessarily like I know we did when we did our Sonic review episode, the first Sonic game, episode 50. There, I know we talked about how like they tried to make a Mickey Mouse-esque character, but the thing with Mickey Mouse is every age can enjoy it. There's no difficulty to that. You know what I mean? Now Sonic is advertised mostly to like young adults to children. I'd say more so children. You can't have these games be hard. You can have these games be
bullshit.
General audience fun with like a slight push towards kids. I feel like Mario sometimes does that where like if you're a kid, you know your kid's not, or if you're a parent and your kid has a Mario game, you know there's not going to be any like suggestive jokes. There's not going to be violence that as opposed to just shooting fireballs and jumping on heads.
Right. And just there's also the sense, and this is mean to say, but like Mario games are polished. There aren't bugs, and if there are, it's something so like minor and such like a hard to do thing. You know, it's not like there's a 1 out of 38 chance that in this cutscene Mario's nose won't render. Like that's a bug you would see in a Sonic game, right? It's not something you'll find in a Mario game because they're polished. And Sonic games, being buggy as they are, lead to bullshit annoyances that then make it not fun in a world where a kid can just play Minecraft or something, or Fortnite, a game that is forever, so to speak, or just watch a show on their iPad or their Amazon Fire thing or whatever. They're just not like, oh, I'm back from school, I have a GameCube, a PS2, Game Boy Advance, and what's on TV? Nothing. Playing Tony Hawk Underground on my PS2 and Metroid Prime in the GameCube in my bedroom. But my thinking is, honest to God, Sonic games can't be failable and they can't be hard. And my thinking is the easiest way to do that is when you get to set pieces and stuff, almost take the control away. And it's more of a thing you're watching and like, yeah, I don't want to do quick time events, but like more of almost like you're choosing which path to go instead of directly controlling.
Yeah, like there's 3 paths.
That makes sense.
Okay, let's say there's a volcano, like I was saying earlier. There's 3 paths down through the jungle as lava is coming from behind you. You can pick and choose what path to take, and in the end, you're still going to get to the end goal. Doesn't matter what happens. Maybe you get some extra rings if you played the game enough if you go left, but it's not going to punish you for it.
And you hide a collectible down one of the paths so that it's repay. You can have challenge in the levels, but it has to be in parts. I look at Kirby games. I don't really have fun with Nintendo's Kirby series past a certain age when I kind of grew up because they're so damn easy. Because they're meant, like, everyone's like, Nintendo games are for kids, and to a degree, yes, they are marketed especially towards children. But there's a difference between a Mario game that is actually kind of hard to beat as an adult versus a Kirby game that it's impossible to lose at as a child. Like, they really do make those games for kids. But the challenge, in quotes, is 100%ing it. Finding all the collectibles in the levels. That's where it's like, all right, we're going to fucking hide these things. No kid's going to even know that they exist. They're for you, 17-year-old kid that buys every DS game. They're for you right now, right?
Yeah.
That's where that is. And that's what I kind of think. Like, Sonic has to be so easy that the challenge is trying to find the red rings or trying to find the hidden Big the Cat at every level. That kind of stuff.
I think the balance, definitely needs to be between children to like enjoyable for people like us. I've said this plenty of times on the show, and I'll keep saying it. I love getting my handheld in games. A Sonic game that literally plays for me, I probably would enjoy the shit out of.
It just needs to look cool.
Yeah, that's what
it needs to give me the same sense of like roller coaster awesome freedom that I felt in brief moments in the Sonic games I like. That's what kept me going. Was that finding that just
Sonic
I'm holding
a cool
pen
dude.
like it's a needle, put it right in my arm.
Yeah, Sonic's a cool dude. Make him do cool shit instead of
Don't put it on me.
Yeah,
don't make me do the cool thing.
You have him talking shit in cutscenes or talking big talk, and then I'm running into fucking robot bugs, because I didn't know it was going to be in the hallway next to me or whatever, and like I'm supposed to dodge that. No, I don't want to. I want to. If he's going to talk, I want to be able to act on that and feel like a god. You know what I mean? Like that he's supposed to be. So yeah, I definitely think they need to have like the challengingness needs to be more collectible based and not stage or level based, where it's like you don't need to be really good at this to beat this game. And you could do like replayability, maybe add like a ghost mode, which I'm sure like racing games, and I'm sure Sonic has done in the past. Be like, oh, can you beat your time from last time? As a kid, you could make it quicker that way. Be like, okay, I'm like, oh, I beat my 1 minute 30 seconds. It's now 1 minute 25. That's awesome. Something like that, or have like a gold medal. You know, like how there's SA, all that tier. Have it be more easy and understandable. Be like, oh, I know if I get this time, I get gold. But if I get this time, I get platinum. And maybe if you get a certain amount of golds in some stage or something, then you get a cool new Sonic skin. Like, that's cool. Yeah. That's fun. Stuff like that. But going back to the nostalgia thing, I feel like if you have the difficulty be easy and accessible, add that with a mix of new, but yet a hint of nostalgia, then I think you have the framework for a good game. Then when it goes back to putting in the work and making... not saying people who make games and the games wind up being bad are not putting in the work. I meant like just like really look at what you're doing. Is the game mechanics good? Because you can have all the ideas on paper, it's executing it is another thing, right? So like I feel like once you get that down, then you're good. These are things I know we want. I don't know if they will do these things. I hope they do these things.
Right.
Because I think Sonic Forces was the
exact opposite of what we wanted. I remember we played that in like 4.5 hours. We beat it together one night straight through my basement.
I don't think I would have had fun if I wasn't playing it with you. I'm going to be honest with you. That game was...
It would have been one of those games where I would have taken a break from it and just been like, oh, it's been 2 weeks. I'm kind of having more fun playing this other game right now. I think I'll wait and then never go back. Yeah. It would have been one of those games for me.
Like we fucked around in that game, and that's what made it fun. We made our dumb hedgehog boy or whatever it was who had the gamer hat. Yeah. But I think it needs to have... You need to pull in the OGs. You need to pull in the OGs with the nostalgia a little bit. Whether it's like maybe if they do eventually show gameplay trailer or whatnot, or have lines in the game that maybe hint at adventure or something like that, or embrace that cheesiness of adventure and somehow work it to where it could be funny. Like I think that's possible too. When like that, like you know the president from the adventure games, bring him back. Fuck it, but make it.
No one's gonna know but you, 27-year-old man.
Yeah, but like you bring him back and you do something funny with it, or maybe he's someone you like help. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to play the other games to know who it is, but if you did play the other games, it rewards you for that. Like, that's the kind of nostalgia
Fast
I want.
and Furious.
Yeah.
The guy that had his nose punched in Fast 4 is in F9.
But I was going to say, speaking of, like, I just want to talk about the setting, what we think that is. I know we talked about it before. Like, they show him in a forest. He has that blue electricity going on, which makes me think that there is going to be some new mechanic in it. I hope it's not just super speed again or supersonic. I hope there's something else to it where, like, maybe you just go generally faster as you power up or something, kind of like you do in Team Sonic Racing or whatever in some other games where, like, or Mario Kart where you get a certain amount of coins, you are going a little bit quicker. Something like that I think would be cool, and I wonder if they're going to do that.
I think...
But do you think it's going to take place all in the forest? Because Ranger, to me... How I like hear that word, I think of like a park ranger or like someone who does not exploration, but just like helps like an area, kind of like not like a cop.
I mean, you can have mountainous rangers.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I think of like almost not authority, even though like you hear like
protectors of a realm.
Yeah,
that's probably the angle with the name.
Yeah,
or Rangers isn't necessarily Sonic and his friends. It could be an ancient evil that's awakened or something like that,
or
right?
A group of
that's been recently discovered. I think that what could happen is another thing kids like, and obviously kids have always liked this with video games. So one thing video games do that no other medium can do, and that has legitimate discovery, whether it's something as simple as, when Tetris piece lands down and makes a line, it disappears. Or like, what's behind this waterfall in Zelda? Or what happens in Mario when under this question mark block? The sense of discovery, I question something, I do something, I find out the answer. Or something happens because of inability or something like that, right? Kids obviously enjoy that aspect in video games, and nowadays kids like really demand, like, I want to be able to find shit and explore and do stuff. That's why Minecraft's really big. That's why all those types of games are big. Even Fortnite to an extent is like the island changes each time. What I think could be interesting is I feel like people get held up on the Sonic gameplay, as in the singular Sonic gameplay, like how does he go through levels, but levels might not even be necessarily like a set in stone thing. It might not be a level based game. You could have a giant explorable area that might be considered level like, or maybe like a hub, and your exploration, your actions, story wise or other, could lead to more standardized levels, whether they be literally seamless, like you walk through this branching tree arc and then it's more straightforward lanes now, and you're going through a level and you come out the other end somewhere else in the giant area, but it's like a 2-minute level or something. Or just loading screen level now kind of just warps, right? I almost think like it could have different
at this point. Like there's a way, I think they can do away with what you're saying is like there's a general hub and you're like, okay, if I go down this path, I know there's like technically 3 levels or something. There's like, I know to the left here there's the start of this one area I haven't been to yet, and I think I see a loop. Maybe there's that goes somewhere, like that kind of stuff. I think there can be a way to do it for sure. They have the tech.
I appreciate when a Sonic game, when you boot it up, it immediately puts you in the first level. Just like, hey, you're here to play the game. We'll give you the story after this level or something like that. But like an all level based Sonic game, I feel like, it's been 30 years of that. Right? Of exactly that. And like, yeah, a couple games might have a hub, like Sonic Adventure 1, and it sucks, or something like that, right? But like, really, it's just level based. Like, I almost think about like, what could you do if you got rid of the idea of levels in Sonic, and it was just a giant area, like one, I don't want to say open world, but like kind of. What could like that sections.
Mean? I don't want like a Mario thing where, like some of the Super Mario games where like after you beat your course, it goes back to that screen where it goes, you can like see that big map and you can go to each dot. Yeah. I don't want anything like that. I think what you're saying is like, I imagine like an island. I'm going back to my volcano. I think a volcano would be a cool set piece for Sonic. I don't know, because like
maybe they're in Hawaii, maybe they're in the forests around the giant Honolulu.
Rangering in Hawaii. But maybe like you start at like the beach. Maybe he's with Tails. His plane crashes. They're stuck there. They need to figure out.
They love their beach levels.
Yeah,
their first level beaches.
Start at the beach, but like it's not a level. It's just like for the tutorial, maybe they kind of force you to like go somewhere. But like, I like the idea that it's like the beach has technically 5 levels on it, but like you need to get certain collectibles or something so you can get to the next big hub. So each side, like I said, like let's say the island is split up. Maybe there is like a world map that you can bring up. So maybe it is technically an open world, but I think if you make it not too big and not too.
We're at the point now where, like previous console generations or whatever, the size of your open world was strained by hardware and just the push to make a bigger GTA and a bigger one and a bigger one. We're at the point now where it's like we can make open world games that are so fucking big, but what's the point? You want to make interesting shit. I'm okay with a small, like the rumor about GTA 6 being a map that's probably not bigger than GTA 5. I'm like, I don't care. As long as it's interesting in there, you can do more with that.
I just think it'd be cool
so
if,
I
like,
agree.
each section there is like 4 or 5 levels, and you can get collectibles that unlock the next section. But you can do them in any order you want. One's not harder than the other. Doesn't tell you what one's harder than the other. There's just different obstacle courses, I guess is the best way to describe them. Maybe different things happen. Maybe you meet different characters, and that character gives you something at the end. But you can do it again later on to get more collectibles or whatnot.
Yeah.
I think something like
Rings
that.
to spend on something, right?
Yeah, kind of like how Mario Odyssey was, in the sense of like you went to a different planet. There was that loading screen with the moving the ship to the next planet. I think if you could eliminate that with Sonic, and you also want Sonic to move quick. I think
they weren't planets. It was part of the same Earth that we live on.
Whatever. But yeah, if you do like an island or something like that, or even just like a park or whatever, like a national park or something, maybe Sonic's trying to save the environment or something. I don't know. I feel like there's a way you can do it where like it's like, oh, I need to get in this cave. I need a flashlight. And that's like the next level. Next section will be like a big cave system or something. Oh, but you have to go around all these different levels on this beach section here, and maybe you find a torch or something, or some sort of like headlamp or whatever. You're able to make a headlamp, and then you go to the next section, something like that kind of pushes you to be like, why am I going here? Oh, I need this item. And at the end, you discover treasure or something.
Maybe even like the driving like point isn't even like finding levels to do. That might even be like just the way you get the main gameplay thing kind of done. I don't know. It's tough for us to really like envision this in an audio form, like as we think about it. You know what I mean? To pitch it like that. But yeah, I agree. It would be more interesting if it was radically different than just a level-based Sonic game.
No loading screens.
Or without like a basic story premise.
It's you going to the next hub, and it shouldn't take more than like 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be on new and old consoles, so I guess they can't really take advantage of what I want with SSDs, but at the same time, like, I don't know. This is interesting. I feel like I'm leaning towards, because like this is what we want right now of this next game, but that might be completely different than what they actually are making, and that might actually be different than what they want it to be. Who knows, right? But I do think that this next game is going to be
a
bigger different than like more like even Sonic Forces was just level based. There's just 3 types of levels. You know what I mean? Like maybe there was a 4th style and I forgot because we played that game 4 years ago as a joke for 4 hours. But yeah, like something different. I feel like then it makes the games more memorable too.
I hope so. I think that needs to be different. And it needs to wipe off. It needs to start the slate clean. I think we've been saying that for a while now. It needs to. This is a time with the Sonic movie to bounce off that and do a new slate. You could take inspiration from the movie in some way. Maybe that's what they do. I don't know. But like, I feel like there's an opportunity here to not fuck it up. You know, and I know we've done. I think we did episode like 40 episodes ago, or even before that. I think it was before our 50th. We're like, what do we want from a Sonic game? And I think it kind of same stuff still stands. Where like we want there to just be the game mechanics need to be solid. It needs to be fun. It needs to be more roller coastery. Just
even if that means taking the speed away for the most part, it needs to be playable. Like you can have a sense of increasing speed and exhilaration without having breakneck pace right out the gate, right? You can do that if you do it right. You can do that.
Yeah, you don't get into 5th gear until the last 30 seconds of the level. You know, you can have the first section be...
I think Sonic 06 did that, by the way, where it was like at the end of every level as Sonic's was time to go hyperspeed, and it sucked ass.
I don't mean that. It doesn't have to be like
obviously
dramatic.
not like the bad
that
game.
Should be the goal of like just like he should be going as fast as he can towards the end.
Maybe even the levels aren't linear in the sense of like it could be a loop or something. You need to get this many rings to unlock the ability to go faster, to break a gate or something, and that's the...
Yeah, like
maybe
I said,
it's more exploratory than just get through level. I like the way a lot of Japanese devs work when they launch a game in a series like this, and they already know we're gonna work on the next one. Like now, we get maybe a week off, and then it's back to our 18-hour days, 6 days a week, because they have school on Saturdays too, which is crazy. Only one day off school week. They look at what happened in the gaming sphere, what launched, and what the conversations were around the time that their last game came out. What came out around the time Sonic Forces did? That was a big competitor. Mario Odyssey. And the gigantic positive reception of that game being way more exploratory. Like, yeah, there was platforming challenges, but it was baked into the world. Because yes, like Mario Odyssey is a like evolution or a part of the lineage that's like Mario 64 and Sunshine and even the Galaxy games. But like Mario 64 was, you had a hub, and then you went into a painting that took you to a level to explore it. Yeah. Sunshine was the same way. Odyssey got rid of the hub and is just, or the idea that the hubs themselves are more level-like. You know what I mean? That was a change, and it was way more
here. You need to find
exploratory than even what 64 and Sunshine was, for sure. Because those levels were way more level-like. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sonic Team looked at the positive reception and was like, can we do something like that with Sonic? Or does he have to just run fast forward?
That elaborate. Like I said, there could be only 4 like paths that you do in each hub. But like the paths could be 5 to 10 minutes. And there's multiple directions you can take in that path. But I'm saying like the path should end at the same spot. You know what would be really cool is if at this hub is every time you finish a route or whatever, the route always ends back at the hub. So you don't have to run backwards or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like maybe you get shot into a cannonball or get shot into a cannon, you get shot out of the cannon as a cannonball, and it blasts you back to the beach.
Yeah, I almost think
that'd
about...
that'd be kind of cool. Be like, oh yeah, I fucking did it. I'm like, oh, and I'm back.
I think this is what you're saying, but like the linear levels are just baked into the hub. Your island of 4 or 5, there's no loading. It's just this island has these 4 in them, and maybe they even crisscross around.
Yeah,
maybe
when you're going
the idea
through this loop, you're like,
even,
oh, that's the other course. I like that.
Right?
Maybe you can even hop courses. I don't know.
With glitches, absolutely.
Yeah.
I meant like
game, but maybe 2 of them connect in some way.
Secrets. There's a secret Chow hidden, you know what
I
mean?
Maybe while you're doing, let's say there's a loop you do in one level and you hit a button and that button opens and you see briefly for a second a door open and you know that's on the other course you just did. And that's where you get the special Chow. Like that'd be like, now there's replayability. Be like, okay, I have to go back and get that.
Hit the red switch that corresponds with the red door in the other, yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, because that's fun sounding. Obviously, it's really easy to just assume the thing we envision is executed flawlessly in ways that are enjoyable to everyone.
But I can visualize this, and I feel like I'd rather they take a chance on that and it being all right than just doing what they've been doing, and it's not like if we've seen it before, and it sucks.
And it sucks, yes. I'd rather what we do be bad than them just make Sonic Forces 2 or Sonic Generations 2 or Adventure 3 or whatever, right? I'd rather new thing that's different be bad than the same thing still just not be good.
Yeah. So I think like
it's more memorable. I mean, here's the thing. Everyone remembers Sonic 06. It's a laughingstock at a failure. That game was different and weird in some aspects, but it was also very similar. But it was just so bizarre, and that makes it so damn interesting, and it's terrible. I hope this game isn't terrible, but I hope it's so damn interesting and bizarre, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And like I said, going back to set pieces, I think the more I think about it, I'm like, how cool would it be that like there is something like a truck sequence that only happens once in the hub somewhere. Like that's
absolutely the whole thing. Yeah.
And maybe at the very end, the last level is it somehow wraps through all the hubs. Somehow, like I don't know how it would work, but maybe that'd be cool. I think that'd be dope. Like I'd be like, oh wow, yeah, I remember 30 hours ago.
The Eggman boss fight. He's in a spaceship and he's chasing you, and he's literally chasing you through the whole fucking game. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Yeah, do we have anything else we want to say about this? I mean, I feel like it's still
this sounds like a kind
delayed.
Of like we were just about Jak and Daxter, a Jak and Daxter / Mario Odyssey with a mix of Sonic Adventure.
Well, you know what was great about Jak and Daxter, right? There was no loading. It was all one island.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
And
like you just walked
puzzles and stuff.
and then there you go. Yeah. And then they gave them guns in the sequel, and they admitted that they just copied GTA 3 so damn hard, and that game was very tough. I hope, yeah. But in any case, that's another franchise that needs a reimagining, because they can't just do Jak 4 as an evolution of Jak 3. Sonic can't just be more Sonic Forces. It can't. I refuse.
Okay, here, can we, before we wrap it up though, I have like one other like thing I think we could talk about with this. Assuming like they don't do anything crazy, how can the game be good in the current constraints of, let's say, something like Sonic Forces? Like, let's say there is Sonic Forces again. What does it need to do for it to be at least like all right to us? Maybe even good.
It needs to be polished. It just needs to be polished. They just need to make sure that the levels aren't bullshit, in the sense of like, it's very easy to go too fast here, and then how, you know what I mean? The timings and this and that, like that level of polish. That's just what it needs. If it's Sonic Forces 2, it just needs to be more thought out if it's going to be the same.
They need
a
lot of playtesting to see, like, is this actually fun after the 20th time or the first time? Because there's levels immediately I'm like, this is stupid. This sucks.
Yep.
Like, at least I feel like every time too, I feel like the first level is like solid most of the times.
Because it's easy. And then you're like, wow, I'm having fun.
And then like immediately it's like, they're like, nope, fuck you. You understand mechanics now? Fuck you. Here's all this random
Here's
bullshit.
new ones.
Or it kind of tells me that like they put all this effort into like the very first one, like because that's when they're figuring it out. They do one level at a time maybe, and they're like, "Yep, this is good, great." And they really do it, and then they're like, "Oh shit, we need to make 8 more levels."
We need to make this game so interesting right out the gate, so it doesn't get sent to GameStop again or something.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think each level needs to be at the same, I guess, respectability.
They just need to all be the same
respectability as usually the first level. Yeah,
yeah. Just make it cool. I don't need it to be challenging. Make it cool. You know what is cool, Devin? Following us on Twitter at Sonic Movie Show. You can also follow me on Twitter at Ethan Absolutely, and Devin is on Twitter at Cursona Fun. The show airs every week. Sometimes maybe it doesn't, but every week you'll at least see episodes on this very podcast feed, as well as our other podcast, which also shares this feed, called The Chronicles of Diesel, a monthly exploration of everything Vin Diesel. We recently did a couple video games. Very exciting. Just like Sonic the Hedgehog, Diesel can also go fast. And we hope you speed on over to our YouTube, our Libsyn, our Spotify, our iTunes, and our Apple, Audible, Amazon thing. And subscribe, tell your friends. Google Music Books.
Music
books. What if that's the new Google thing? Is just Google Music.
They don't even
books.
they don't call it audiobooks. They're like, no, they're music books, because this is music to your ears.
Technically,
The
even
Great
a
Gatsby
simple...
is just like a fucking song to me.
Although I have been doing more and more audiobooks, and that's just my preferred way of reading now, which is just I just have more time that way.
There's been a book I've been reading with my my communist book study circle, and like it's super in depth, and I'm like, I have to like, even when I'm reading it, I'm like, I lose my train of thought because there's so many like big words. I've been doing audiobooks, it's helped a little bit, but it's still like they'll say like one word, I'm like, I don't know what that means, then like now they're continuing their sentence, and I'm like, stop talking so smart.
I feel like I have so much ADHD where I just Mary Sue myself into the books a lot, and I'm just like, nope, I'm reading this. This is not my story. Any case, our story continues next week on another episode of the Sonic Movie Show. See y'all later.
See you in the Rangerverse.